There is no spot.
There is no spot
where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is me, God is you, God's in everything we do. There is no spot
where God
is not. And I know that God is everywhere, in the trees and in the air. When I feel like I have lost my way, I just open my heart. I hear Spirit say, there is no spot.
There is no spot
where God is not.
Where God is not.
There is no spot where God is not. God is me, God is you, God's in everything we do. There is no spot where God is not. No matter what you think or do, God's right here inside of you. And I know that I am not alone. When I rest in God, I know I'm home. There is no spot.
There is no spot
where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is me, God is you, God's in everything we do. There is no spot where God is no spot where God is not. There's no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. Welcome.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Little Rock. Welcome to May. As always, every month I think the same thing. How did it get to May already? But it's a beautiful month for us. And today actually we're going to talk about this special month, this month filled with flowers. And Bill reminded me this morning that if I'm going to talk about May flowers, we have to remember what? April showers, yes. Unfortunately, we may not be done with showers. It seems to be, that seems to be prevalent for us in Arkansas now. It used to be getting dry soon in June and July and August, but we don't seem to quite do that pattern anymore, which is a great example of change. Change not only for our planet, for our state, for our city, but our own change, our own transformation that's taking place right here in our lives and in our community. So this morning, Miss Jeannie McGehee is going to pray us in, correct? Would you like to do that now?
Serves that way, that's why. Sorry. Okay. It is a beautiful spring day. Beautiful.
Do you have the mic on?
Day. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
The mic. So, let's take a breath, become present in the welcoming of this loving community and sanctuary. Let's breathe in the welcome of this community and breathe out and release thoughts or feelings of separation. Let's breathe in the support we feel knowing each other as the Christ. Let's breathe out and release any drama of this day. Breathe in your supportive ego that works with your innate godness. Breathe out adverse ego that allows separation or blame or judgment. So on these glorious spring days, we feel that life force, that vitality that's coming up through the earth, through us. We acknowledge that there's challenges in this human life, in this unity church, and in this world. Let's release any thoughts of judgment, insufficiency, or limitation. We affirm the powers of strength and faith and love and life. I may feel like the wheels are coming off the bus sometimes, but I also understand that in divine mind, there are infinite possibilities that I may not understand yet. The power of life, of this spring, of these flowers, is coming straight into my heart. I remember my divine identity and receive all that can help me with gratitude and without shame or guilt. I dedicate myself to be a clear channel for the flow of life. I am spiritual beingness. I have faith in the generosity and benevolence of life. I trust in this now through unconditional love. So be it.
Amen. Thank you. Stay right here with me.
Okay.
Okay. I changed the order a little on you.
Okay.
I just invite us to start recognizing, do you feel the difference? Sitting out there before prayer and after prayer, do you feel the difference? Feel the difference in you, in your experience? Just inviting us to start holding that awareness in our lives when you have the opportunity to pray here in our openings, but to doing affirmative prayer with ourselves, with our friends, with a prayer chaplain, that we start recognizing that there is an immediate difference in how we feel and the perceptions, everything from our thoughts to how our body actually feels, and everything in between there for us. So with that, with this new perception, I invite you to now say hi to a neighbor. Okay?
Yeah, greet the Christ.
Yeah, that's right.
What is all that from?
Russ wanted me to do something for him. I'll go get that.
Nice today. Well, thank you. Thank you for being up there and singing. Yeah, today is terrifying.
Hey, how are you?
Talia, right? Yeah. I see your Liz. I should
Hi, Leah.
Good, very nice today. Good morning. Hi, Ellie.
Hello.
I'll try and post.
Yes. The Friends song from down on the piano.
I get to do both.
That's all right.
Do you want Jerry to do it? She does.
Yeah.
Now on.
No, Vandra, no tambourine on this one.
Hey, it'll be fun.
Feel free to sing along on this one, because I think many of you know it. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, What a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of a rainbow are so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands and saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Well, we prayed in with our affirmative prayer. Now let's do some of the other unity things. First, I want to remind you, I'm prayer chaplain, and I will be here after service. And here is our prayer box. And at Sunday service, it's here, but it's also in the hallway during the week. And you can put a prayer in there anytime. And we send them off once a month to Silent Unity, where they're prayed over there as well. So there's that. And then we have our daily word today is helping others. And that's kind of appropriate, you know, because it's spring. It's time, we're coming out of that hibernation and reaching out. And thanks to Jeannie and the WOW group, we have really become a reaching out church. So I invite you to look at the daily word in the bulletin. And also, we light the Christ candle to remind ourselves we are the Christ that dwells in us. And then we have our statement of being, and I don't know where the clicker is. Right here. So, let's see. Oh, goodness.
The down arrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a new machine.
One more.
There we go. So let us all join in and say the statement of being together. I am an individualized expression of God. I am everyone with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
We're making sure that clicker gets a lot of love today. I know you guys know this.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. Yeah. Get up, all my brothers with me. Oops. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Yeah. Everyone can see we're together as we walk on by, and we fly just like birds of a feather. I won't tell no lie. All of the people around us, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving love and overdose. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. Yeah, yeah. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. I got all my brothers with me. Yeah, yeah. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Living life is fun, and we've just begun to get our share of this world's delights. High hopes we have for the future and our goals inside. We know we don't get depressed. Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh no, this is our family jewel. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. Yeah, yeah. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. I got all my brothers with me. And sing now. We are family. Get up, everybody. Get up, everybody, and sing. Thank you.
We're going to talk a lot about Mayflowers today. And we're going to talk about flowers in general and bulbs and all that has taken place for us to get to May so that we could see what was blooming out there. Jerry, if you're going to help me today, would you advance it, please? And I'll say yippee-ki-yay, yay, yay. Will that help you know? Or just go. Just go. But in my yard, I also have beds that look like this. Okay? They look as dead could be. Okay? Like there could be no possibility that there's going to be any Mayflowers there. Matter of fact, it looks like there's death lurking there. But is that true? No. There's been a whole lot going on under the ground here. And it's just a matter of time. Next for me, please, Jerry. In John 8, it says, if the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he has raised Christ from the dead, will give life to your... That doesn't read right. Left out a word. But the point being, will give life to your mortal bodies also through his spirit that dwells in you. The next place. That is a resurrection piece. And isn't that what happens in our Mayflowers? Aren't they coming back to life, being resurrected for us? Charles Fillmore says resurrection is the restoring of mind and body to their original undying state. He was talking about us and our Christ expression, but that applies to spring. Those flowers are coming back to their original undying state because they really didn't die during our winter. They rested, okay? Just as we find that we rest in life. Jeannie, would you take this for me, please?
Check all the pockets for money.
You will. She says she's going to check all the pockets for money. It won't get you very far, I assure you. We live a life in which we too rest and have our periods that we seemingly have little going on in our lives. It seems like what we've been desiring, what we've been wanting, what we've been waiting for patiently to bloom, to come into fruition in our lives, just ain't got there yet. But just as that bed we looked at, does there really mean there's no life under there? Especially when it comes to our prayers. Just because you pray it and it isn't here today, does that mean there was no action, no activity, and nothing unfolding in that prayer? No. Say no. Seemingly, it has no activity, but there's something taking place, unfolding for us. Next, Jerry. Those bulbs that look quite dead, matter of fact, look at that brown thing. Doesn't look like there's any life at all there. There you go. Oh, she caught it. Good job. Good. Wow. We need to have a softball team. Yeah. There's a great deal of life in this, even though there seemingly looks like it could be thrown away and have no value for us. That's true in our prayers. We often have times that we want something in our lives. We desire something. And that we're doing the activities and the actions to help us bring that forth. But it didn't quite here yet. Those Mayflowers haven't quite presented themselves yet, Jerry. But that's coming. That life is there. It was already there, but it's going to start revealing itself. One more, Jerry. But there's a patience that needs to take place. That original dead bed I showed you, what if I went out and yelled at that bed and told it to hurry up? Would it go any faster? Okay. There's a process. There's a speed of nature in this case that has to unfold a certain way. In James 5, it says, "Be patient, therefore, beloved, until the coming of the Lord." And I inserted this. This is the metaphysical interpretation of Lord. Creative power within us. So until the coming of the creative power within us, the farmer waits for the precious crop from the earth, being patient with it until it receives the early and late rains. Sometimes we simply have to be patient for those Mayflowers in our lives to open up, to reveal themselves to us. Do we like it? Sometimes winter seems to be a little too long. It wasn't too many weeks ago. It was downright cold. Right? And I was starting to wonder about whether spring was coming for us. I could be impatient about that. But does that change the process? Does it make it unfold any faster for us? No. So there's patience that's involved here, Jerry. Here today, I'm also going to help take what's a nice, already living plant, give it a new home, a new place to be in our lives. Okay? It's getting a new place to exist for us. And we as spiritual beings, every day, get to decide, are we going to be patient while doing the things necessary? Because this plant needs some things, doesn't it? What's it need? Love? Who thinks a plant needs love? Yes, all those. It needs a good medium that has the nutrients, the fertilizer, all that's available for that plant to pull what it needs to help build its cells. It needs the water. It needs the sunshine. It needs the light. And I would say that the light and the love are one and the same thing for us. Light may be what we're defining as sunshine, but I'm talking about the light that we are, and that is most certainly love. So when we're sharing love, in some ways we're sharing a different version of light with this wonderful living being in here in this little green plant. What happens when I am in my neighborhood And in my case, I live close to Mount Holly Cemetery. Mount Holly Cemetery, for those of you that have been by it recently, it has a wrought iron fence all the way around four sides of the cemetery, and they have planted climbing roses, pink mostly, a few red, but mostly pink. And this past week, every rose in creation is in bloom on that fence. Right? So I can see that every day when I leave my house. I can see that south side of the cemetery wall. Incredible a number of roses. Yet, what would happen if I got closer to those roses? What would I experience? What do roses give off? They give off a fragrance. Sorry, it's a little bright out here, so I need to add my hat because some of us don't have any protection up there. I'm out there with those roses. I can see those roses. I can experience those roses. But until I step up and be involved with those roses, I can't know part of the essence and the beauty of the rose is that fragrance. One more for me, Jerry. Jeremiah 33. Call to me and I will answer you, and I will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. To me, stepping up to those roses and having that fragrance, I start to discover something that was unknown to me. That's the same in our lives, in our spiritual lives. We can step back here and say, I know about spirituality. I know about my Christ nature. But there's a stepping up to, a getting close to, because we need to be involved with it, in the experience of it. That's the fifth principle of unity. That is, it's not enough just to know. We got to get out and do it. We've got to live that from our existence. And the only way we can do that is to step up to it and be close with it, to be close with Spirit. How do we get close with Spirit? Couldn't hear you. Prayer and meditation. What are other ways? Nature. The things that touch us and remind us of the beauty and the essence of the truth of who we are. What reminds you of who you are? Not just this human form that has this particular job and plays this mom role, dad role, son role, daughter role, co-worker role, whatever those roles are. What's the truth of you? What's the essence that you are living and expressing from? What reminds you of that? And perhaps it's prayer, I hope, and meditation, but I hope that it's more than that. It's the things that touch you. It may be at the ocean and seeing that vastness and feeling that sunshine and hearing those waves hit the beach. It's what reminds you. And if it's your relationships, then are your relationships reminding you what a pain in the backside you are or they are? Then is that reminding you? Maybe. But hopefully the relationships are the ones that are supporting us and reminding us of our beauty and how loving and how compassionate, how kind, how generous we are. And that we want our friends and our family, those relationships, to support that. One point from the Jack. A little more color in our life here. Matter of fact, how about a lot more? We have a master gardener in the audience out there. I apologize for what I'm doing. Sometimes it's okay that we don't have to do it perfectly. We just need to be involved with it. We need to step into it and have the experience of it. This may not be done perfectly, but I bet you this is going to thrive. It's going to exist and produce a continuing flowering, continuing growing, living expression here that I will get to be a part of. I'll get to witness. You may get to be a part of and witness. And it didn't have to be perfect. As we move more deeply into recognizing there's a variation of plants here. There's a variation of plants in our world, but there's also a variation of us in our world. This great image of all those different types of flowers. We get to dive into those and experience those. I can smell these little guys right here are pungent, right? Some of those flowers in our lives are pungent. We get to experience that. But what's that reflective of? Reflective that each and every one of us are like one of those flowers up there. Sometimes we're pungent, okay? In ways that others note, positively or negatively. But the important essence of that, Jerry, this is a long one here. This is from 1 Corinthians 12. Now you are the body of Christ and individually members of it. And God has appointed in the church, here's a long list. Just hang on to this list. First apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then deeds of power, then gifts of healing, forms of assistance, forms of leadership, various kinds of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work miracles? Do all possess gifts of healing? It's basically laying out a list here of all the different things that people can be involved in, and different gifts, different talents, different things they can be doing in their community. Okay? But strive for greater gifts than all that list, and I will show you still a more excellent way. Right? Each of us are like these flowers. This is not a rose. Is this any less beautiful than a rose? Is it any more beautiful than a rose? No, it's not a rose. It's not meant to be a rose. And we in our lives forget sometimes that we're not meant to be like Joe over here and Jane over there. We're not here to be them. We're here to be us, to be this great individual expression of the Christ. Just like these flowers. And these flowers, if I look at those roses when I leave my house on that wonderful fence, and I go by and I yell out the window, I don't like the color of your pink, okay? Does it break their hearts? Do they cry and pull all those buds back in and never bloom again in life? Or do they, I think, hear me and go, so? Okay? This is me. This is my pinkness. Right? I don't need to be another shade of pink. This is who I am. And I'm sharing that to the world. And I think that that's important for us to remember. We are who we are by design. We're not a mistake. We're not an accident. We're here expressing and living in this world because we're supposed to bring through what we're supposed to bring through. Just like this list here. Right? We may have different talents, different gifts. We're here to bring those through. And it's not for us to bring those other gifts through. It's for the person next to us to bring through theirs. So it's remembering that in this family, we're not to be concerned with who else is being what they're being, other than to support them in being that. My job, Jeannie said that, is to love this flower and to love this one. And to love this one that, hey, doesn't have a bloom. That doesn't make it less. Right? To still love it for what it's offering and what it's sharing. And for us as a family, here spiritually, but as a family that may be biological, or family that might be city or state or nation or world. It's to love those flowers in our life, even the ones that we go, I don't know if I really like that one. It's not my favorite. Okay, but it is someone's. Maybe many someone, just because it's not ours. Next one for me, Jerry, please. All right. This is a bee and a butterfly. What do they do when it comes to flowers? They pollinate. Okay. What's pollination? What's pollination usually helping create for a plant? New plants. It's the way things propagate. Okay. Actually, for some, it's what helps create the next seed for them, so that they can then continue on in a new generation. We get to do this pollination too in our lives. Just as these wonderful butterflies and bees get to assist these plants, we get to be that assistance in life. Because when we go through our lives taking forth who we are, our gifts, our talents, our recognition of the Christ that lives in us, our recognition that we are divine beings, living this wonderful human experience, but we're divine beings. And that we share that with the world, meaning we share us with the world. We're pollinating because we're contagious. Right? That's the strength, I believe, in the power of unity. A unity doesn't teach and hasn't ever taught that you have to go evangelize, okay? That you got to go out and you have to preach the message. Okay? I think that's because Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the founders of Unity, understood you are the message. Okay? You don't have to go preach it, you're it. And that when you take you into the world, being someone that recognizes the power that's within you, the presence that's within you, the recognition that the divine nature is alive in you and every human being on this planet, that recognition is your message. Because that means you step into the world and approach the world from that place. And the people around you, as they may desire not to respond to that, will. Because you can't be embraced by that and not being influenced by that. So what have we talked about here today? We have dead earth at sometimes in our lives. What we think is dead earth. What we recognize as not quite being like we want it to be yet. But that's the operative word, yet. There's life there. It's getting ready to unfold for us, to open up. And that when it opens up, we get the opportunity to step closer to it so that we can experience it in its fullness. Meaning experience the spirit that's alive there. To step up into that and do what's necessary for us to deepen that in our lives. And to recognize that each and every one of us are that expression of the divine in a very unique and beautiful way. And that we get to acknowledge that for one another, to acknowledge the beauty that each of us are. What a world it would be that we spend our time acknowledging the beauty instead of complaining about you not being a rose when I wanted you to be a rose. What a powerful way of pollinating the world, to be seeing the beauty that's here instead of caught up in something else besides that. I'd like to share something with y'all today, a little differently. I think y'all will be okay with this sharing because it's my opinion. And I share a lot of my opinions, but this is really my personal opinion. It doesn't so much have to do with what I'm trying to understand and grow and share with you as well as in the community. But this is having the experience yesterday of being here for a memorial for Tammy Lake. Many of you in this room probably don't know Tammy. She was here on the potluck Sunday in March. So some of you may have got the opportunity to be with her. She died 4 days after being here with us. She was a kind, gentle, fun, and naturally loving woman to me in my life. I didn't spend a great deal of time, have tons of interaction with her, but she always made me feel loved with my interactions with her. Pat and Sandy were the ones to first greet her on that day. Sandy was out front and knew to look for her because I knew she was coming. Greeted her, introduced her to Pat. They sat, they visited, they had potluck together. I got to read her journal entry for that Sunday, March 25th. And what she conveyed in that entry, a long entry, was about coming here and being met by someone at the door who knew her by name, and wrapped her up and loved her and said her was someone that just turned and showed her kindness and had a common connection with. She talked about the prayer box and putting a prayer in there and how excited she was that someone was praying over that prayer, that it was going to go to Unity worldwide, and that Unity, a group of people, were going to pray over that. And spending time at the potluck. What I know for Tammy was at that moment for us that's of immense discomfort when we're starting to recognize and open up our spirituality in a new, deeper way. And it was uncomfortable, to say the least. And I know that she cried much of the time with us during that service today. I'm going to hope that wasn't a reflection of just me. Tammy would like that. She was funny. She was always laughing at herself. Okay? That was for you, Tammy. Her last thing she wrote in her entry was just how deeply and profound the kindness was that she received here. That she felt, she conveyed without the words, she felt loved and embraced by this community. And basically said, how could I not go back to that community? Because I know that she'd been estranged from her spiritual path and her organizations for a long time, and that we were the first church community that she'd come back to in a long time. Right? What's important about that to me is I know that touched Tammy on that day. I don't know whether it changed her life for those 4 days of her life she had remaining. I don't know that as a fact. I believe it. I expect that it contributed to changing her life. But most definitely, it impacted her in a way on that day. And I want to share that because here was a flower that is a community we wrapped up and loved. She needed to be loved that day. And we as a community loved her. And I can't be more proud of y'all for wrapping your arms around this woman in her time when she truly needed to have people love her, hold her, care about her in a very spiritually obvious community and not hold her in any form of judgment, even as the tears flowed from her. I can't be more proud of y'all. Thank you. Thank you for giving my friend that type of love. That's what That's why I'm here. To have a community that loves that way, that shares that way, that just takes a stranger and wraps them up. So, thank you for that. Thank you for being the flowers that recognized another flower and did your best to give the nutrients, the water, the fertilizer, the sunlight, the manure, whatever it might have been needed, okay, in that moment. Thank y'all for that. Today, I would like for us to step into our meditation, and this is going to be a very singular meditation for us. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and join me in our meditation time. Because here you are in this space. This is sacred space. Not because it of itself is special, but because you are special and sacred and you make this sacred space. It is sacred because you claim it as such. And sitting in these seats, feeling your body sitting here, the pressure of the chair against you, feeling that rise and fall of your breath, the movement of your breath across your lips, across your nostrils, and allowing the tension, any type of resistance, to simply ease away. It's no longer needed. It's not required. And here you know that the loving Spirit of God, our divine nature, is present. It's present between these walls. It's present as these walls. But the Christ nature is present within us, within you. This power and presence, this wisdom, this knowledge, it is all you. And sitting here today, I invite you, if you so desire, you might cup your hands, place them in your lap. Because in that cup, you're holding this beautiful, live, growing flower. Your favorite flower. The most beautiful, the most touching to you. The one that inspires you when you see it. The one whose fragrance touches you and makes you tingle with gratitude that this is in the world with you. Being with this flower, I want you to, in your mind's eye, look at this flower. See it from every angle. From left, from right, from above, even from underneath. Now feel this flower. You can touch its stem, you can touch its petals, but the feeling I'm talking about is what this beautiful plant is sharing with you. It has a certainty. It has a confidence. It knows who it is. It knows its purpose. It knows why it is here. And it naturally, inherently is sharing that, radiating that. We can see it in its beauty. We can feel it, and it just knows it belongs here. Feel that purpose. Know that belonging. The Spirit, divine nature, Christ consciousness, the truth that resides in you, that resides in this plant. In the silence, as we move into it, allow that communication to take place. There may be a true and earnest sharing that this magnificent flower wants to share with you personally. Allow yourself to be aware. Allow yourself to receive. In the silence, be this flower. As you bring your awareness back to this space, back to being seated, feeling the pressure of the chair, the rise and fall of your breath again, the movement of your breath across your lips and your nostrils. What is a word or a few words that express what your flower was sharing with you? You are the beauty that is unique in the expression of the divine. Our world may have many, many flowers that are the same. Same roses, the same pink shade, but they are never identical. And you are that same flower in the world, never identical to the person next to you, thus precious, a precious expression of the divine. And as you come and be present, begin to open your eyes. Know that those word or few words remind you of your unique place, sharing, loving, shining your beauty, offering your delectable fragrance for all the world. And so it is. Amen.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me.
We seem to have a theme today, abundance of life, in all its generosity and kindness. So now we have a chance to generously give back our abundance in the offering. So let us say together, there we go. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive.
I like. I'll say it from here. Hey, we're about to do our last and final song today, unless you're going to count the peace song. But I just want to point out that we have performed a couple of Karen Drucker songs today already. The opening song, There Is No Spot, and the one we just did, I Send My Love. And Karen is our featured artist of the month. I did put a little flyer in the bulletin this month. You can read about her. She's had a very interesting life. And I got to talk a little bit with her at Pozzapalooza, or Pozzy Fest, I guess is what it's called. And she's a very cool lady. Well, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road gets rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, just remember what your old pal said, that you got a friend in me.
You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, running, running as fast as I can. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. You got a friend.
Well, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got troubles and I've got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We'll stick together and we'll see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me. 'Cause you got a friend in me.
You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running as fast as I can. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend.
Well, some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way that I do. It's me and you, and as the years go by, a friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. Oh, you got a friend in me. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Yes, sir.
She's a spring butterfly. Oh, Lord. He is too.
We need those with our plants.
I have a feeling I don't pull off the butterfly very well.
Probably not as well as I do.
That's correct.
At all. Today, right after service, we are having our board meeting. As most of you know, it was planned for last Sunday. It had to be postponed till today. And we'll be meeting in the community room right after service.
Give us 15 minutes right after service, yes.
And then tomorrow evening, the Human Together Choir is having their spring concert, where a couple of people here at Tam and Bill are involved in, Laura Lynn's involved in.
The Shones, Dave and Susan.
The Showens. And that's going to be at 6:30. Oh, battery's running low. At 6:30, and there is no fee to get in. There will be food provided, and it's going to be a great experience. They are a phenomenal choir.
Yes.
And then this Wednesday is the Songwriters Group, which meets here at 6:30. And if you have any more questions about that, see Bill. And this coming Saturday is going to be a painting party at 9 a.m. So everyone who can, please come out. We're going to finish painting that back room.
Back children's room.
Back
yes.
children's room,
Yes.
yes.
And it's I won't say mostly done, but it's sure halfway done. So there's not a whole lot more work to do, but it will still take us a little bit of this. And more people doing this, the quicker it'll go. So join us, please.
That's all I have.
All right. So then that's join us in our closing circle, please. Thank you. Thank y'all. Join us in our closing affirmation. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
On earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be a moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous wow. Take this moment and live each moment peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Hey, God.